Black students sold at a mock auction at their school. I'll be damned. Let me take you to Chatham County, North Carolina. Black students were reportedly sold by classmates during a mock slave auction at the school, prompting the superintendent to send a letter. Let me show you a picture of the superintendent. His name is Dr. Anthony Jackson. Dr. Jackson sent out a letter. In that letter, he added the district is reviewing its resources for encouraging students to speak up if they are targeted or witness behavior that is hurtful, racist, and demeaning. Now, let me remind you, now typically, there are some exceptions. Now, typically, if you have a racist student, that means you have a racist parent or home environment. That's typically what that means. All right. In a letter sent Tuesday night, Chatham County Superintendent Dr. Anthony Jackson told families that the district had become aware of recent incidents involving students using racially insensitive language and offensive imagery. Jackson went on to declare that racist, homophobic, or otherwise hateful behavior or speech has no place in the Chatham County school system. He told families that those who are acting outside of our expectations will be held accountable. Now, let me remind everyone, Republicans will love you to believe that critical race theory is your biggest problem in K through 12 education. It's not even taught. But they have utilized that as their false pretext to create a context to eliminate actual teaching of history, especially as it relates to the racial and racist history of the United States of America and the current application of bias and prejudice. They do not want students to understand these things. So when you choose to not properly educate, because when you go to school, when a student goes to school, they're not just learning curriculum, they're learning who they are as social beings. When you eliminate the education of social morality, historical dysfunction, current applications of biases and prejudice, when you decide to eliminate curriculums based on the concept of life, things like this happen. See, this can be deconstructed, but it has to be done with intention. There's more. While the letter does not specifically describe the incident, the Chatham County parent who has been in contact with the district told a lot of those details on Facebook. We have some of that. This is a mother. She wrote on Friday, "To say we have had a rough week is an understatement. Our son experienced a slave auction by his classmates, and when he opened up, we were made aware that this type of stuff seems to be the norm so much that he did not think it was worth sharing." Just imagine being a young person of color inside of a school and your classmates are selling you and buying you in a mock slave auction, and you believing it is so normative that you don't even tell your parents. What do you think that does to the young person's mind? His friend went for $350 and another student was the slave master because he, and I quote, knew how to handle them. We even have a video of students harmonizing the N-word. Since when were children so blatantly racist? Why is this culture acceptable? Let's put up a picture of the family. Ashley Palmer, her son Jeremiah, her husband Eddie. Let's keep that picture up. Ashley also expressed how thankfully Jeremiah is a strong, unapologetically black young man whom she's proud of, especially in how he has handled these situations. She added further, "We will continue to do our part to make sure every racist child and faculty member is reported for every blatant act and microaggression." Let's go to the principal. His name is Matthew Wilkins. He's the principal of J.S. Waters School. The district thanked her for alerting the principal, saying they're taking this very seriously and have taken steps to ensure it will not happen again. Palmer posted that the incident took place at J.S. Waters School, a K-8 school in Golson, located about 50 miles southwest of Raleigh. According to this year's data, the 195 student school is 68% white, 12% black, 12% Hispanic, 6% of 2 or more races. The school has declined to make another comment in reference to the accusation against the family, from the family. So Dan, we see what's happening here, but this is not a silo, this is systemic, this is across the country. But here's what won't happen. Republicans won't say this is an issue. They will not pass legislation, no policy. They will not even give any commentary about how we should all denounce racism fully, nothing.
They will spend an entire media cycle about worrying about kids going to the wrong bathrooms or like being, what about your kids in the bathrooms? But nothing about actual legitimate racism, because it's not a secret to us. It's not something they actually care about when it happens in schools, when it happens to people. It's real. I like the point you made there where because there is no framework for teaching about race, you either get this I don't see color dynamic where no one gets like any idea of how to combat race or talk about race in schools for children, or you get this all-American free-for-all of racism like you get here, where you get students like harmonizing the N-word, which to me sounded like one of those Bloody Mary things for like summoning Ronald Reagan back from the dead. But like I ultimately couldn't really see how you have teachers, again, there's so many people asleep at the wheel here who are allowing this to happen, who are seeing this, who are observing this, and not telling the students what's wrong here, telling the students how they could learn from this, or honestly punishing the students because this is not how they should behave. It reflects poorly on the parents, it reflects poorly on the school. It's starting to reflect poorly on the country.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And this is the thing, when you start ignoring and avoiding race-related truth, here's what happens. Race or racism does not go away. You get a buffet style of racism. You get a variety of racism.